you're a first-time Princess Cruiser, there's a few rookie mistakes that you want to avoid in order to make your trip as good as possible. Today, I'm sharing 11 common mistakes that first-time cruisers make and how you can avoid them. Hi, I'm Michele. I'm a travel advisor that specializes in Princess Cruises, and I love to help first-time cruisers plan the best vacation possible. The first mistake I made quite a bit on my first couple cruises, and that's not knowing that you could sit in the bar or a lounge without buying any drinks. You don't have to pay for any drinks to be able to do this. If you want to go sit in a lounge and listen to music, you don't have to drink at all. This is a big issue for those of us that don't drink alcohol or sodas or anything, and we just want to sit there and listen. We don't realize that we can just do that without paying for drinks. If you're used to drinking alcohol, or if you have like the Plus package and it's not a big deal and you're like, oh, hey, I want to always buy a drink anyway, go right ahead. But for those of us that don't want to drink anything, or maybe we just want a glass of water, we don't always realize that we can do that in a lounge when an activity or a music event's going on, and we don't have to worry about paying for it because we don't have to. You can sit in a lounge without buying anything. This next one came up when I was talking to someone that has cruised before, and that is she didn't realize that you could eat in more places than just the buffet. The buffet isn't the only free dining venue. I have a whole video on complimentary dining venues with Princess Cruises, but she didn't realize that the main dining room was complimentary. She thought you had to pay to go into it. And nope, you don't have to. It's often open for breakfast and sometimes lunch, and it's always open for dinner. There's multiple different ways. There's having reservations, there's walk-in, there's different options available. If you have any questions, comment down below and I'm happy to answer them. It's perfect for those that want a slower, more relaxed dining experience. It's also great for those with dietary restrictions because let me tell you, they are fantastic. If you are gluten-free, vegan, any allergies, anything like that, you can talk to your head waiter and you can usually order the night before and get all your meals prepared without having to worry compared to the buffet. A lot of people also prefer this because it is way more sanitary than the buffet is. We are buffet eaters, so I'm not criticizing the buffet, but for those that are more concerned about the sanitary issues with the buffet, the dining room is the perfect option and it's included in your cruise fare. It's kind of strange at first to go sit down, order from a menu, have a waiter, all that stuff, and then just walk away without paying for a bill. But then you get used to it. And then you have to remember you can't do that on land. So many people don't realize all the things that are included in your cruise fare. So this is an important thing to know ahead of time. So things like, for instance, what drinks are complimentary at your dining venues. So for breakfast, for instance, you can get orange juice, apple juice, your coffees, your teas, as long as they're not specialty, are all included. There's always water available as well. You don't have to pay for bottled water if you don't want to. You can just do like a glass of water. There's water stations. If you want bottled water, you do have to pay for it. But in terms of just like, oh, do I have to have bottled water? No. Also, the water in your own bathroom, even depending on if you want to use it or not, is desalinated. So they have taken the salt out of it because it is like purified water from the ocean. So that is also an option. You can drink the tap water as well if you want to do that. There's coffee and tea stations at the buffet. And for littles, I've had no issue getting soy milk for my daughter or juice like apple juice at dinner time or lunchtime. That is complimentary for those as well. Another issue that I had when I first started cruising was not realizing that if a venue was closed, I could still go in there and sit. Unless it's closed for like a private event, you can go into a lounge like Vista Lounge or Club Fusion's another, like that back area is one of our favorite places. On the Grand Class ships up in the Skywalker's Lounge, we really like going up there for some quiet time and some nice scenic viewing. If it's closed because there's not an activity going on, you still can go in it. It's not like, oh no, there's no activity, therefore it is fully closed, you can't go there. I wish I had known this, especially on my first cruise. My first cruise, I have medical issues and I was sick on my first cruise. Nothing to do with the cruise line, my own chronic conditions. And because I didn't know this and it was hot out and I could not stand the heat, I just stayed in my room a lot of the time because I was like, I just want to lie down and read. If I had known what I know now, I totally could have just went to a lounge and read quietly in it instead of spending so much time in my inside cabin. Don't ignore the time zone changes while you're in port. You're gonna get a little card saying, hey, we're going time traveling, we're going ahead, we're going behind. Don't ignore those time changes. Also pay attention to what time zone your ship is on, and if your all aboard time is based off of local time, like are you staying on ship time, or is it based off the local time of the area? For example, if you're at a port where it is like an hour behind your ship time because the ship time isn't changing, and so technically all aboard is 6 p.m. ship time, but local time that's only 5 p.m., you need to pay attention because if you're like, oh, I have till 6 p.m., you might miss your ship. You need to pay attention to what time your all aboard is based off of what time they're telling you. So are they saying it's local time, saying it's ship time, and is ship time local time? You need to pay attention to those time changes and what's going on. In your stateroom, often in like a drawer, you're gonna find a breakfast hanging card. And this is free complimentary room service breakfast. We do tend to tip for this because it is a nice little room service-ness, but on there you can specialize what you want for breakfast, and then as long as you hang it out the night before, you will have it delivered. You can specify which time you want to come. Even for instance, like I drink soy milk, we are dairy free, so I just write soy milk on and I've had no issues getting that. And it's great for like port days where you have to get up early and you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with the dining room, I don't want to deal with the buffet, just bring me my breakfast. And you can totally have that done complimentary just by hanging on that room card. So just look around and find that. If you're finding these tips helpful, be sure to subscribe for more Princess Cruise specific tips, tricks, and travel advice. Don't arrive late for shows. We often arrive about like an hour before production shows and about 30 to 40 minutes before other shows. The production shows especially will fill up, especially if it's going to be a super popular one like rock opera. If it's a like theme, like holiday show, like Christmas show, those will fill up fast. You want to be there early. There's been other times where it's just like a local singer that comes on that, or there's other things going on that people don't really want to go to the main theater show, and it doesn't fill up as fast. If you have the premiere package, you don't have to worry about this so much because you do have the reserved seating, but make sure you are there at least 5 minutes beforehand. Like I would say probably 10 minutes beforehand to ensure that you have a seat, because they will release those seats at 5 minutes to show time. But you want to make sure that you get there early, especially if you have like specific needs. For example, my daughter's in a wheelchair and we usually bring a stroller for her wheelchair, although this upcoming cruise we are considering bringing her actual wheelchair. Anyway, we have to use the wheelchair parking. Because she is small, she needs to be able to see. So we kind of have to pick and choose where we sit, so that way if someone in another wheelchair, an adult, say in a motorized wheelchair, parks in front of her, she can still see. Because we've had issues in the past, especially like 2 seconds before showtime, or the show has started and people pull up right in front of her and then she's bad. So we try to select our seats according so that she has a good view, because she absolutely loves the show. So if you have any needs where you're like, oh, I have to be on an aisle, you want to be at a certain area, if you want a certain view, make sure you arrive there early so you don't miss out. There comes a point with these production shows where you will not be able to get a seat and then you'll miss out, and these shows are fantastic, so don't do that. Also make sure that you are checking the Princess Patter daily, whether that's on the app or the physical copy. I've actually really liked using the physical copy on our recent cruises, just because it's a little bit easier to skim through than on the app sometimes. But make sure you're checking it out, and check to make sure that like you're not missing out on anything that you want to do. There are so many complimentary included activities. The only things that are extra cost are, they will say like fee applies, like so some of the fitness classes, for example. But there's so much stuff for free. So make sure you're checking that every day, because so often I hear from people, they come off their cruise and they're like, oh, I realized on the last day that there's been karaoke every day. Or, oh, I never knew that there was a reading lounge. The dining room turned into a quiet reading area. And it's just those things that they're missing out on because they're not just going through their patter in detail to make sure that they're seeing everything that is an option. Another common mistake I see is not realizing there are other pools to use, especially if you're an adult. There is like the retreat pool or the lotus pool, depending on what ship you're on. And then there's the terrace pool at the aft of the ship, again, depending on what ship you're on. And so there's a few adult only pools that you can use that is a lot calmer and quieter than the main pools. Take a look at the deck plans, learn your ship, and then you won't be so disappointed when you're at the main pool and you're like, oh, it's loud. Oh, there's too many kids, depending on what time of year you're going or where you're going. Oh, I didn't realize that, oh, there was a whole section of hot tubs back here that were not being used. Check out your deck plans, see which pools are available, and scope them out to see how busy they are, because especially for those of us that don't like crowds, it's so much easier to be able to go to one of these quieter pools and go swim and relax there instead. Even if you're going to a warm destination, make sure you bring a light sweater or a jacket. The ship can get cold. I am someone that is always cold, but the ship can get cold sometimes. Like in the theater, I find that they crank up the coldness a little too cold for me, maybe because the dancers and stuff get warm. I don't know. Also, like at nighttime, especially on sea days, up top will be a little chilly. So you want to be covered, especially if you want to go and watch like the movies under the stars or anything like that. You want to be able to be comfortable. So don't miss out on stuff because you're too cold because you forgot to pack a sweater. Not knowing what's in your package is something I've seen time and time again from people who have booked themselves. I've had a few people that booked their first cruise by themselves and then their second cruise with me, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the same package I had last time, but I had no clue what was included in it until you told me. And it's like, yes, that is part of my job. But anyway, you need to know what's included in your Plus and Premier packages. Also, make sure you're getting the right package. So many people are upsold to the Premier package and they don't need to be. You don't need to be for a lot of people. There are a lot of people that also get the Plus package and they should have got the Premier package because the Premier package would have been a way better value for them. So make sure you know what the packages are and you're getting the best value. There's also people that book the standard package, which is what we do, because they think, oh, it's cheaper, I might as well do that. And then at the end of the cruise, they get a huge bill for all the things that was included in their Plus package if they had transferred to that instead. So make sure you know your packages. They can be added on anytime before your cruise and up to, I think after the first day of the cruise, you can even add it on the first day. So make sure that you're getting the best value because you don't want to miss out on using the stuff that comes in your package that you already paid for, or not having the right package and overpaying when you could have got a package instead. If you want to know more about the Plus and Premier packages, I have a whole video on it, so go check it out right here, and it's so detailed and will give you all the information you need.